You know, across Georgia, cooperatives play a big role in both community life and the economy. From electric co-ops that keep rural towns running to farm co-ops helping producers reach new, sometimes global markets, these member-owned models highlight a different way of doing business. Joining us now is Doug O'Brien, President and CEO of the National Cooperative Business Association International. Doug, good to be with you. You're going to be talking with us about how these co-ops are shaping Georgia's economy and the national landscape. Thank you for your time.
Dan, thanks for having me on it. It's an important conversation and really picking up from the segment before just this last one about how consumers feel about their place in the economy. Cooperatives are this special kind of business that give consumers and other types, producers and workers, more power in the economy because in a cooperative, it's a business that's owned, controlled, and benefits the people who use the business, and they're used in Georgia. So you mentioned it before, in the rural electric scene, the electric membership cooperatives, there's 41 of these types of businesses that serve over 4.4 million people in Georgia, and not only serve them, but they're owned and controlled by the people who own those businesses. There's 172 credit unions with $31 billion in assets. Again, these are banks that are owned and controlled by the people who use them, and that means that the profit doesn't flow out of the community. The profit stays with the members, and that business is going to reflect the values and the priorities of that community.
So as I take it, one of the big ideas is keeping those profits local, right? And when you talk about these rural Georgia towns where strong agricultural roots reign supreme, every dollar matters. I mean, what's your elevator pitch to folks for why this matters to an everyday Georgian?
Well, it's part of the reason why rural communities continue to survive and thrive in rural Georgia and across the country. Now, these are businesses, they're not marginal businesses. We're talking about businesses like Land O'Lakes, like Southern States, like CHS. I mean, these are businesses that are the core to that local rural economy, not only in agriculture and food, but also in that utility and electric and water co-ops as well. Without those co-ops, those families and those communities might not have access to markets. They might not have access to the key services that they need to participate in the economy. And, you know, it's in rural, it's in urban. I mentioned those 172 credit unions. Co-ops are all over in Georgia. They have a real storied history. There's a group called the Federation of Southern Cooperatives that's based in East Point, right there in Atlanta. And that's a group that brings together black farmers and credit unions to make sure that part of the community can own and control and have a say about their economy.
Doug, I got about a minute left with you. Any headwinds you face, macroeconomically speaking? I mean, when you think about younger generations, for example, used to fast-moving startups and big digital platforms, how do you keep this model appealing to them?
Well, we're finding a lot more interest around co-ops because young people in particular really understand that they want to have more say about their business and their economy. So there's more and more. And we talked about these big sectors where co-ops are prominent, but places like in housing and worker ownership. So you think about there's over 78,000 businesses in Georgia that will change hands in the next 10 years. A lot of those businesses could go to the workers. These are younger people who can control and own, and those businesses will stay in those community and worker co-ops. So co-ops aren't really about the past, they're about the future. And even with headwinds, it's best that you're steering your ship, right?
There you go. Doug O'Brien, thank you for the time and for helping us make sense of co-ops. I hope you come back on sometime.